Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the problem sum pair closest to target. So in this question, given an array ARR and the number target, find the pair of elements A, B in array ARR where A is less than or equal to B whose sum is closest to target, if possible equal also. So our note is to return the pair in sorted order, and if there are multiple such pairs, then return the pair with maximum absolute difference. If no such pair exists, return an empty array. So coming to the test cases, the first one is 10, 30, 25 are the numbers and the target is 25. So what are the possible pairs we have? We have the 20 and 5, which is 25, and possibly there are no other pairs, so we can see. So there was only one pair, and the sorted order of the pair is 5 and 20. So the result is 520. So in the second example, if we see 52714, target is 10. So we have how many ways? One is 7, which has target is 10, means 2 comma 7. We also see in the explanation that 4 comma 5. The target is 10 and the outputs can be 4 5, which is 9, and the closestness is by 1, and the 7 2 is also 1, and 4 7 11 is also by 1, which are closest to 10. But the absolute difference, which is maximum condition, means 4 5 absolute difference is 1, so not okay, and the 4 7 absolute difference is 3, and 2 7 absolute difference is 5. So among these three, what is the maximum absolute difference? It is 5. So the pair is 2 comma 7. That is how it is selected. So now coming to the expected complexities, we have the n log n time complexity, and also the auxiliary space is big of 1. So no extra space is allowed. So it is asked in the Ola Cats company. So now let's discuss with an example. So now first the approach. We all know in this kind of approximately 2-pointer approaches, we first sort the array. So we sort the array in the ascending order. So we use 2 pointers, left and right. We all know where the left and right starts. The left starts at index 0 and the right is at length minus 1. So after the declaration, we check if the current sum, we actually compute the difference between the target and sum of left and right variables or the values at those indexes. If the minimum difference up to now is greater than the current difference, then update the minimum difference and the final A and B values for the result. So if the minimum difference is not less but is equal to minimum difference. Then we check if the current absolute difference between those two values like the A and B is greater than the maximum absolute so far, then update the A and B values, also the maximum at last add the A and B to result and it is the output. So this is how we are going to solve this program in the approximately 9 steps. So if you see, we sort the array in the ascending order. We use 2 pointers. We compute the difference between the target and current sum such that if the minimum difference is greater than the current difference, then this particular pair, the current pair, is the closest one up to now. So update those differences and the A and B final values to add the result further at the last. But if it is not less than but it is equal to the minimum difference, then we check if the absolute difference between those two values is greater than the maximum possible up till now or not. If it is there, if it is the maximum absolute difference is less than the current one, then update the A and B also values. We are doing this some extra steps because they said there should be multiple pairs, then return the pair with the maximum absolute difference in between those two values. So for this sake of the note they give, we are implementing these some extra steps. Otherwise it may be simpler. So example, if you take the 10, 20, so we directly wrote the first step actually here. So the of the sorted one looks like 5, 10, 20, 30. Is it 5, yes, and target is 25. So now the second step, already the first step sorting is over. So compute, so left and right. First one is left is equals to 0, right is equals to 4, then 0, 1, 2, 3. So the sum value, the current sum is equals to, what are the sum? It is 5 plus 20, 5 plus 30. We also need to add some steps here. If the current sum is less than the, if the current sum is 2 less than the target, then move forward the left by 1. Then similarly, if the is 2, if the current sum is too big than the target, then move the target by 1. So this is how the updation takes place. So now, so 5 is equals to 35, the current sum is. So now if you compare let's first write here the initial values. The minimum difference d is equals to, let us say, infinite, some star, let us say star as an infinite value, and the maximum absolute difference is -1, the least possible one. Let us not even take the 0, it is -1. It is not possible, that is why we kept here like the infinite one. So if you check our current sum minus target, current sum is 35 minus target is 25, which gives us 10. So if 10 is less than the minimum difference, so obviously 10 is less than the infinite, so yes. So then we do the following changes. Like we know that we said the a value will be the 5 comma b is equals to 30 at present till now, and the minimum difference is equals to 10. And after that we again need to move forward, by which we are going to see in the 9 and 10 steps, which is if the current sum is too big, or let us say it is greater than the target. So is it greater or less than? 35 is greater than the 25. So left value 9, the right value will be decremented by 1, so which results r is equals to 2. So third step, let us say the another iteration, which is right is equals to 2. So the current sum is 20 plus 5, which is 25, and the current difference is 25 minus 25, which is 0. And if 0 is less than our minimum difference, which is 10, so obviously it is less, so yes. Then we do the following changes, which are again a is equals to the 5 comma b is equals to 20 comma minimum difference equals to 0. So we can't make any changes further, so we found the minimum difference value, so simply move forward or move backward. So we saw that our actual values are already found. Then the last step will be the step 4. Add the a and b values to the result, so it is the output. So these are the approach we are going to follow, and the example, which is this one, by dry running this given first example which they gave. So now we will convert this into the code. So first declare the return type, which is the result we commonly follow, result. Now let us take the length, which is array dot length, and if we know that for any pair there should be minimum 2 values. So if the array length is less than 2, then it has no elements or it only one element, then the output is the arrays only. So means we don't need to only also compute the values, because actually there are no minimum 2 elements, so that we can find the pair. So simply return the initial arrays only. So now the actual logic begins here. So we will sort the array as we said in the logic. So step 1 is finished. So we compute, so we use the left and right variable, which is left is equals to the 0 comma right is equals to, we know that the length minus 1 comma minimum difference so far is integer dot max value as a representation of the infinite value. It is not infinite, but the maximum possible value in the integer class. So the minimum and the maximum maximum absolute difference between the two numbers till now will be storing continuously in that variable, so which is -1. So we are keeping the initial values in those variables which are not actually possible, then only we can write our logic correctly. So now while our left is less than right, we said we will compute the sum. So int current sum is equals to which is array of left plus array of right. So after that we also compute the current difference, which is current sum minus target. So now if our current difference is less than the minimum difference only, then simply minimum difference is equals to current difference. We didn't declare the final a and b values. A is equals to -1 comma b is equals to -1. So a is equals to array of left, b is equals to array of right. So else if our was not equal to the less than the minimum difference but it was equal to, then they said the pair with the maximum absolute difference should be written. So we are handling now that case. So how? So first compute the current difference, which is CD. Current difference is equals to array of right minus array of left. So current difference is computed. If current difference is greater than the maximum absolute difference, then maximum absolute difference is equals to current difference. A is equals to array of left, b is equals to array of right. So now the pointer movement, which is if our current sum is less than the target, then obviously we need the more current sum, like the value should be still more. How can we get the more value? By incrementing the left value, so that we move the array range into the more higher values. So if the current sum is already greater than the target, then we need lesser value, so minus minus. So at last add the a and b values into the result. There is a small mistake. Already defined. So maximum absolute difference. So sample test case is passed, and the hidden test cases are small problem occur. So our code output is 4,7, but it's actually 2,7. So there is a small problem in this code. So now we need to analyze. So for this example, let us write here what is the sorted 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. Is it? So now in this, by seeing our left and right pointer, 7, the difference should be 10. Okay, so 7 and 1, it is not okay, means it is not possible. So 7, 1, the sum is 8. So let us take the first pair will be the 7 and 1. So 1, 7. So now, is it less than the target? Yes. So 1 pointer will be going to the 2. So 2 plus 7. So now 2 plus 7. What is the sum? It is 9. So 9 is still closer. So the now current final values will be 2 comma 7. Now it is still less than that, so it will be going to the 4 comma 7. So 4 comma 7 is again yielding to the sum of 11, and the difference is 11, and the difference is 1. But the absolute difference, which is here, we need to write here, because this is the main case where our difference should be the less than the minimum difference. So these are the assuming these are the final values, then we need to compute the maximum absolute difference for those values only. So the sample test case is passed. The hidden test cases are so we can see the hidden test cases are also passed. So if we analyze the time and space complexity here only, we said the space we create for the sake of return type is not calculated, so it is big of 1. This take the time, which is n log n. These all are also simple integer variables, big of 1. This loop takes big of n. These two variables combined take again big of 1. These all are only if conditions. Any integer variable will take the big of 1 space. So now the time is big of n log n plus big of n, is again big of n log n only. And coming to the space, you can see all are big of 1 only. So by adding all together also, we get the big of 1 only. So if we compare with the expected ones, it is big of n log n and space is big of 1. So they are matching. So this is the best possible solution for this program. So kindly practice this program. Thank you for watching. The program link is in the description. Please subscribe.